Good morning, good afternoon, hello to all of you. I thank you for joining for the second of our bits and bolts sessions that we've put together. My name is Stuart Clark. I'm responsible for our African territory, and as we were joking about earlier, thankfully I have power today, so Armaan doesn't need to wing it himself. but yeah, it's really good to be here, and hopefully, if I am blessed with power in the future, we will be able to do them together over the next 2 weekly sessions, and be able to share some information with you. It's really without taking much time of what you guys have already put aside. The goal of the series was to be able to share, I guess, really tips and tricks and some of those features that we've released that are perhaps a little hidden. And while it will be new, some will also be those that have already been in place for some time, but that we, Armaan and myself, and any of you have perhaps shared, were found to be really useful in some of the day-to-day applications of the deployments that we're involved in. Second, sorry. There we go. So you have some pictures that Gabby has managed to snap with us a little while ago. And the other thing that I wanted to do really is just share that obviously the dates that are coming up are on the screen at the moment. But it's important for us to mention that we are taking an extra break over the Easter holidays. So the next meeting will be on the 9th of April. And for some of us, times will have changed as well. So please keep that in mind. We're also aware that some of you using the Google calendars haven't been able to save the entire series. So the link will stay the same, but we are working on that and hope to be able to give you an update in the coming sessions. One other thing, I know we pointed it out at the end, but this time I guess we want to be earlier. But it would be nice, please, to see as many of you would attending as you would like. And we're obviously going to be taking note of the attendance, and that will give you entries into a prize that will be held at the end of the year. And obviously, for those of you who are our regular partners, we'd love to be able to see you attending more regularly. So we're going to kick off the same as you would have seen last week, but with the temporary password option that I was going to share, and then Armaan's going to share more about some device information on the SureLock title bar. So let me jump out of this quickly and jump into my console. Really, while I'm doing that, I think it's important to mention that firstly, you will find this in the knowledge base. There we go. It's coming. As Armaan mentioned last week, all of those topics, or at least the majority of the topics that we're going to touch on, can be found in our knowledge base. And so this will be in the link and what will be shared a little bit later, but it's essentially the basis of what I'm going to be showing you today on the SureLock temporary password. So taking a look at my console, the reason, I guess, and let me give you a use case for now, is quite regularly in my region, and I would imagine for many of you, there is a requirement to be able to unlock a device, perhaps through a third-party provider. More recently, I had a WMS provider who needed to be able to get access to a device. And the administrator of the SureMDM console did not want to share the SureMDM password, sorry, the SureLock password with everybody. And so, the possibility of being able to create a temporary password that not only allows you to exit from SureLock, but has a timed reinitiation of SureLock is really, really helpful. And we could give you, I guess, many use cases. I'm sure there are many of you who have your own where this could have been really helpful. And so this is found within our SureLock dynamic job. For those of you less familiar with the console, that's over here. This is going to connect directly to the device that I have sitting on my desk at the moment. There is that short period of synchronization because this is working live on the device in terms of being able to adjust the configuration. And you will see while it's synchronizing a new option that's displayed on this left-hand side of the title bar being the temporary password. So as soon as my synchronization has happened, I will be able to click on it. And the options that you will see listed are the ability to set an expiry date, because obviously that is one of the things that is important. The other is to be able to generate a password. And at least at this point in time, we are not giving you the ability to manually generate that, so manually choose that password. It is a system generated password. So you will see I have enabled the temporary exit password function. I have set an expiry date as to when this is going to be valid for. I can click on the generate password, and I will receive what would be a fairly complex password, something that I guess nobody would be able to guess. And then lastly, and mostly in my scenarios, the ability to be able to auto-launch SureLock again after a period of time. In my case, I'm going to just use a minute, but you will see we have the option for hours and days, and obviously the flexibility to be able to adjust that as you need. So if I was to save and apply this job to the device that I have on my desk at the moment, sorry, future date, let me jump one day ahead. I'm going to save this configuration, and I'm going to apply this configuration to the device that I have connected to my SureMDM console at the moment. And if I take remote on this device, you will see that at this point in time, it is sitting within the SureLock environment. But I'm going to push down the exit password as part of the clipboard. And again, for those of you who are familiar with it, perfect. For those of you who haven't used the clipboard function, please, this is where you would find it. So I'm going to paste in that copied password. I'm going to send it to the device clipboard. And then within the environment of the SureLock, I'm going to tap on the screen the 5 times for what would have been the normal exit password option. And at this point, I'm going to paste from the clipboard my password that was set earlier. And you can see once I've done that, I'm given the option to be able to exit completely out of SureLock. Remember that this doesn't give somebody the ability to change the SureLock settings on the device, which historically would have been done if you had used your, what I would call the normal password to be able to exit out of SureLock. And so we believe that that's really, really, really helpful for many of our customers. Again, since the launch, I guess about 6 weeks ago, I've had a number of my partners and a number of my customers who've found that this is incredibly helpful. And in general, the benefit of not being able to share your company SureLock password is obviously a massive, massive benefit. So again, just while I'm waiting for that to go back, you find it in the SureLock dynamic job. You will find it up at the top left-hand side under the temporary password option. And then remember that you have the ability to set an expiry, the option to be able to trigger the start again of the SureLock, the reinitialization, and also the possibility to be able to trigger a generated password. And unfortunately, we missed it, but you would have seen now, being a minute later, my device has returned back into the lockdown, being the original SureLock configuration. So there we go. I wish I probably could add some more, but I think that's going to be about the total of what can be shared within this temporary password option. I'm going to hand over to Armaan, and then we can carry on with the next section that he's going to present on.
Thank you very much, Stuart. I'm going to take over really quick and share my screen. There we go. I believe now you should be able to see it. Really quick, I think that's a very interesting feature, Stuart, because especially nowadays, I'm seeing more and more integrations with ticketing systems. And sometimes whoever is providing the support is not the same person that has the MDM admin rights. So to be able to automate and even take that and possibly put it into another platform through APIs can really be interesting.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, my feature is something which I think is a little bit straightforward. I think many of you might have already seen or used it, but it's a question that comes up for me almost on a weekly basis. So I thought we can spend some time, talk about A, what's possible, B, how you can do it, and finally some of the different options in what's the scale or scope of this device, what we call SureLock title bar. Stuart mentioned this earlier as well. There is, of course, a knowledge base document on this, and I really recommend that we all check this one out particularly because if we scroll down past the steps under the details, we have all the different wildcard strings that we can use in this configuration. So the idea of the title bar is pretty self-explanatory. We have a device like this, and as we get a support or a help desk ticket, we need to find and identify which device is having the problem. Now, traditionally, what people have been doing is putting a QR code or a sticker on the back of the device and then using that to identify. But as technology's advanced, we're looking for a way to put on the device screen some information that would help an IT admin identify, okay, what device is having this problem, and then hopefully using the MDM console, be able to resolve that problem. So I'll quickly open up a remote screen support so you don't have to keep looking at my little window here. But this is the device. As you can see here, there's not a lot of information to identify this device and tell me which device is having an issue. Of course, I have a device name because I've already found it on the MDM, but the end user doesn't see that. What can we do? If I come back to the Sure MDM console, and I'm just going to go to jobs because I've already created 2 different SureLock settings for this example. They're exactly the same at the moment. But what I'm going to do is modify the with title bar, go to SureLock settings, click search, and search for title. What I'm looking for here is the title bar settings. First, I'm going to have to enable it. And then you're going to see I have quite a bit of different things that I can customize and change here. I can use plain text, but this doesn't really help me since it would be very manual. What I'm actually going to do is come back to the knowledge base, take the longest wildcard string, use SureMDM Nix device name, and paste that into the text section. Now with this, if I wanted to, I could change a variety of the information, like how this is going to be seen or kind of visible on the device, change the positioning of it. In this case, that's the only thing I'm going to change. I'm going to center it. I don't like it all the way to the left, but there's a lot of customization which can be done here. I'm going to hit done, and save. We don't need to add in password. This is a legacy SureLock function. And I hit save. Now I come to the device, apply, and I'm going to apply the with SureLock. If I come back here and hit save, connect, we're going to see that now, after a few seconds, I now have the bits and bolts device, which is the device name, visible here on the screen. What's very cool is this is dynamic. If we ever change the device name on the Sure MDM instance, it will take some time, possibly a reboot here, but then that device name will also update. You don't have to take any additional manual steps or efforts. And of course, as we discussed, you can totally change this. We can make the font size bigger. We can make this top section smaller. So there's a lot of customization and things we can do to really brand and make this device easy to use, but also very easily identifiable. As Stuart mentioned, they were going to send both of the different knowledge base, so kind of documentation after this meeting as well to everyone. And you'll be able to check out and possibly configure a temporary password on your own or the SureLock title bar if you haven't already. Again, please sign up for the community where you can keep up to date on everything which is new and being released. And you may have noticed if you were looking to share or watch the last episode of the bits and bolts kind of session, coffee break, that it has not yet been posted online. We hope to have everything uploaded onto our YouTube channel, the 42 Gears YouTube channel, by the end of March, so in the next 1 to 2 weeks. With that, we'll open up for a quick round of questions. If there are any, please put it into the question chat on the GoToWebinar little window that pops up on the right. And of course, if you're like me and questions come a little bit after you've had time to digest, or maybe after you've had time to try these things, these different features, you can always reach out to us at the partner marketing at 42gears.com or tech support at 42gears.com. I think, Stuart, we should also add our emails to the top of that. Gabby's very nicely done.
Good idea.
Surprise pictures of us. At least you look professional. I look like a very relaxed there.
We have a question.
Yeah, very good question. Is it possible to add time or radio strength in the title bar, or is it planned? So essentially, and correct me if I misunderstood this, Michael, but what we're looking to do is give some type of, let's say, status, like is this device, does it have connectivity, does it have any errors or kind of failures with being able to connect to a cellular network or Wi-Fi network? It's a very good question. I don't think that we have this now. We have, for instance, the different cellular connection types. IMEI, for instance, mainly uses some devices to identify. We have the Wi-Fi MAC address, but not the signal strength. I'll have to answer this in two parts to you later, because part number one, I'm worried that even if we have signal strength, I'm not sure how quickly it would update. And that would mean that maybe you're seeing the signal strength of a few minutes or maybe an hour ago. So I'll make a note of this and I'll check back in and we'll update everybody. A, is it possible? And B, what expectation should you have as far as how accurate is it?
Thank you, Armaan. We have another question, and still for your topic. So.
Very good question. So the question is, can you place the custom information on a different position of the SureLock screen than the title bar? It's a great question. And at the moment, the answer is no. However, there is it is in our pipeline. For instance, we've had the request to put it at the very bottom of the screen, and then also to remove altogether the kind of like the title bar, the bar itself, so it looks a little bit more seamless with the background and the wallpaper. So it is in pipeline. I don't have a release date yet, but usually the SureLock updates come quite frequently. So I hope that in the next month or so, you'll be able to really set it and put it wherever you'd like. Great question. Fantastic. So then what we'll do after this call is I'll send, or after this kind of recap, we'll send an email to everyone who's attending with the requirements or restrictions on what the other information you can put on the SureMDM console, and then, SureLock device screen. Of course, the console has this. And then also when you can customize and move around the actual title bar information. If there are no other questions, then we'll leave you all to enjoying the rest of your day and hopefully what coffee is left in your coffee cups. If any other questions come up, feel free to reach out to us. And again, we appreciate you all for joining.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.